The NFL regular season was all around an insane thing this year. Tons of crazy stuff happened, but you know what time it is, guys? It's time for the NFL playoffs to begin. So on today's video, I felt like it would be a good idea to go ahead and do what I did last year by ranking each playoff team that has the least to the best chance to go ahead and bring home Super Bowl 58 this year. But before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know this is my opinion. If you disagree with my opinion, I apologize. It's just my opinion on it and how I feel about these teams. Let me know in the comments who you guys have winning Super Bowl 58. Drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And let's get into it. Starting off, I just want to mention I listed all these teams and I have tiers for it. Shouldn't be a surprise. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jacksonville Jaguars should not be forgiven whatsoever because I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I have no idea how the Steelers won 10 games and I have no idea how they're in the playoffs. But you know, Mike Tomlin once again cooked up with his black magic and made it so the Steelers are a 7th seed and snuck into the playoffs. But there are some huge problems with this. Starting off in that game that they played in week 18 versus the Baltimore Ravens, TJ Watt injured his knee and he is out for this wild card game versus Buffalo. TJ Watt of course has 19 sacks on the season. He's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. So without TJ Watt, this is going to make this even harder. And they're playing the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills are playing some great football right now, I'm not going to lie. So in my opinion, I think a lot of us can agree this is probably going to be a blowout. The Bills are most likely going to win by double digits. I just don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers going on a run. I just don't see it happening. I know Mason Rudolph has been playing some pretty good ball. The run game has been pretty good, but without TJ Watt, I just cannot see them going ahead and going into Buffalo and beating the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills. It's just not happening. All right, next up, the team that I think has the second least chance to go ahead and win the Super Bowl this year would be the Green Bay Packers. No disrespect to Jordan Love and what he's done this year. He's been an all-around baller, but the Packers just got too many questions on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, their offense has been pretty good with Jordan Love, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed. They've been some huge studs this year, but the defensive side of the ball kind of worries me. They have a pretty good pass rush with Kenny Clark and Preston Smith. Those guys are great, but the rushing defense and the passing defense has kind of been mid this year, and I feel like it could cause problems in the playoffs, especially against Dallas. It just really hasn't been that good this year, and they play the Dallas Cowboys at home, and the Dallas Cowboys have all around dominated their opponents at home this year. That's why, in my opinion, it's just all around concerning for the Packers. Jordan Love is a great quarterback, but I just don't see him winning a playoff game this year. And if somehow the Cowboys were to choke this game, which I hope to God they don't, because I'm going to look like an idiot if they do, they would have to go play the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara, and we already know how that's going to go. The 49ers literally own the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, I feel like the Packers got too many concerns on the defensive side of the ball. Joe Barry literally had Bryce Young have his best career game versus that defense. That's how bad it's been this year. Jordan Love, he's a great quarterback. I feel like he's the QB of the future in Green Bay, but I don't see him winning a playoff game this year. But next up, I have the last team that's in my not a chance tier, and that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And with Baker Mayfield, no disrespect to him either, because that man has been balling out this year. He really exceeded my expectations. I did not expect him to do all this year, but I just can't see them winning the Super Bowl either. They got the worst record out of all of these teams right here. They play in a horrible division. I just can't see them doing it. Their offense has been pretty good this year. I mean, Mike Evans has been balling out. Rashad White has been an all-around stud for them. Chris Godwin has been doing Chris Godwin things. Baker's been way better. He hasn't been turning over the ball, and he's actually been playing well. The defense has been pretty good with Devin White and Winfield Jr. That guy should make All-Pro. He's been all-around balling this year. But another reason why I don't think Tampa's going to win the Super Bowl is because the path they would also have to take too. Now, me personally, I think they can go ahead and take down the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles defense has been so bad this year. I feel like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin can just all-around cook that defense. Their secondary has just been so trash. Their tackling's been horrible. I honestly think they can go ahead and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just the path that they would have to take after that. They would either have to play the 49ers or probably Dallas, and I just do not see them beating either one of those teams. They're just honestly on a whole nother level in the NFC right now. But yeah, that is my not a chance tier. Now the next tier I have is called huge weaknesses. Now these teams have some huge weaknesses with them, and that's the reason why I think they're so low on my list, is because their weaknesses are so big that they can really get exposed in the playoffs. Starting off with this first team on this part of the list is the Philadelphia 10-1. Even though they're playing some super good games, I thought they were going to get it together and they just haven't. I thought Jalen Hurts was going to win MVP, and I just thought a whole bunch of stuff at the beginning of the year, and now I sound like a goofball. Like I already said, I pretty much already gave out and told you guys what I think Philly's biggest weakness is. That defense, man, it's horrible. It's not not good whatsoever. At one point they had the best rushing defense in the NFL, and now it's one of the worst, and that passing defense has been horrible all year. And I just feel like with that, they're gonna get exposed by whoever they play. If they beat Tampa somehow, some way, which in my opinion I don't think they are, if they end up playing Dallas or San Francisco, they're gonna get exposed again very quickly. That defense has been so bad, and with their defense being so bad, Jalen Hurts and the offense have to be damn near perfect in order for them to even do anything or get close to winning a football game. And Hurts this year, he's been turning over the ball with interceptions and fumbles. It's just been really inconsistent. And as I'm recording this video, I still have no idea if AJ Brown's gonna play, because that injury he suffered versus the Giants looked pretty serious. But yeah, that's my take on the Philadelphia Eagles. That defense is horrible. The offense has to be pretty much perfect in order for them to win a football game. That's what it's looking like. And for anyone wondering why, if I've talked so much bad about this Eagle defense and I have Tampa beating Philly in the first round, why I have Philly over Tampa Bay, well, here's my take on it. If Philly were to beat Tampa Bay, and I guess you could go ahead and say they would have a better chance than Tampa Bay going up against any of these teams, even though I don't think either of them are going to the Super Bowl, but they got more playoff experience than Tampa. But yeah, that's what I gotta say about Philly. Their defense is definitely their biggest weakness on the team. Also, I guess you can throw in Jalen Hurts turnovers with that as well. So the next team I actually have on this ranking is going to be the Houston Texans. I'm a huge fan of what CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans have done with this team, but there's one problem with it. They are missing Tank Dell on the offense, and it really sucks to see because Stroud and Tank Dell were amazing, but here's my huge weakness with them in my opinion. It would be the level of experience that they have. Stroud being a rookie quarterback and DeMeco being a rookie head coach is just something in the playoffs that really haven't gone well if you look at the history of things. Now I know CJ Stroud is a different breed. This man is a baller and he's a winner, but like just basing stuff off of history, I just do not see them going off rookie year head coach, rookie year quarterback winning the Super Bowl, because I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before, and I don't think it's gonna happen this year. Me personally, I got the Browns winning that wild card matchup, but even if they do go ahead and win that matchup, they're probably gonna end up having to play like the Ravens in the second round, and I really don't think that's gonna go well for them in my opinion. So yeah, my biggest weakness with the Houston Texans is just lack of experience. Otherwise, they got a great team. Stroud's a baller. That defense has been playing pretty well. Nico Collins is great. It's just the lack of experience for me that boots them down on the list. Alright, so the next team that I have is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now I know someone in the comments is going to be mad at me for having the Chiefs this low and having them in the biggest weakness category, but you know what? You have to agree with me, guys. That Chiefs offense has not been good this year. Their defense has been playing pretty well, I'm not gonna lie, I like what I've seen from them, but that offense is atrocious. Besides Travis Kelce, and even Travis Kelce's looked a little washed this year, what other playmakers do they really have? I mean, Rashid Rice has been a nice addition, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, he's a rookie. Isaiah Pacheco's a pretty great running back, but besides them, it's like no one else is good. MVS can't catch a ball to save his life. Kadarius Toney doesn't know how to line up on sides. It's just like this Kansas City offense is really not that good. If you looked at Mahomes' stats, you can tell too, this Chiefs offense is definitely not the same as what it was last year, because last year they were balling out, this year not so much. And that's the biggest reason why I have the Chiefs so low. I know it's Mahomes in the playoffs, but you know what? This year I just don't think it's gonna happen. I truly cannot see this Kansas City Chief team going back to back the way this offense is playing. I just can't see it. And I know some of you guys in the comments are gonna agree with me on this one. Up next, I got the Detroit Lions. Man, oh man, this team has done some wonderful things this year, and I am very excited to talk about them. Now you're probably wondering, why do you have them in the huge weakness category? Well, there's one reason why: the defense, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I just want to talk about how great that offense is real quick. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta if he plays. I'm very sad that he got hurt. He's been balling out this year, but that offense has been all around great. Their weakness is for sure that defense though. That passing defense has not been good this year. It really hasn't been. They let Nick Mullins almost throw for 400 yards on the defense. It really has not been good, and I feel like that's where the Lions can get exposed very easily and lose games. Their first round matchup is versus the Los Angeles Rams, and I have the Rams upsetting in this game just because that Detroit defense, I cannot trust it. If Nick Mullins can throw for a ton of yards on it, what do you think Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams is going to do against that defense in the playoff setting, especially with Stafford coming back to Detroit and the storylines with that? That's the reason why I got the Lions so low, and plus I just don't see them winning the Super Bowl this year. I think their time is coming soon. They're doing some great things, but I don't think this year is the time. I think they need to beef up that defense a little bit more before we can go ahead and call them Super Bowl contenders. But Detroit, you guys have done a great job this year, and you guys won the NFC North. Congratulations. At number 7, I guess you could say we're halfway through the rankings. We have the Miami Dolphins. Now, the reason why I have the Dolphins so low, and they're like on the edge of the huge weakness category, because honestly, they're starting to have a huge weakness, and that would be the injuries that they have. They have a ton of injuries. Raheem Mostert's banged up, Jalen Waddle's banged up. They have a ton of defensive players banged up. Xavier Howard, Bradley Chubb tore his ACL, he's out for the year. They have a ton of injuries, and it can really backfire in the playoffs because man, oh man, it is not looking good. They have to go to Arrowhead in the wild card round with temperatures that are going to be freezing. It's going to be one of the coldest NFL games in history. This one's going to be truly interesting, but them injuries, man, I just can't trust this Miami team to go on a run this year. They looked nice in the beginning of the year, but you know, things have just really started to go downhill from there with all these injuries they have piled up. And honestly, they really haven't beaten any good teams this year. I mean, yes, they beat the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have looked kind of suspect on the road. Besides that, you know, they really haven't beaten anyone good this year. They had a chance to be the 2 seed and lock up the division, but they went ahead and choked versus the Buffalo Bills. And with that, just I cannot see this Miami Dolphin team being that high on the list. Now, the reason why I got them at 7 with the injuries is because Tua, Tyreek Hill, you know, they're going to be a great duo, but they got some huge weaknesses, and I feel like they can easily be exposed. All right, now we're moving on to the dark horse category. These are teams that I feel like have potential to do some upsets in the playoffs and maybe go on a run, because I can truly see it with these teams. Starting off at number 6 out with this ranking system, I guess you could say I have the Los Angeles Rams. They have done an amazing job this year. Well, I shouldn't say this year, I should say after the bye week, they've done a great job. Out of all these teams on the list, I can definitely see the Rams just going on a run in the playoffs. Like, it's obvious. Like, Matthew Stafford has been playing some great ball out of the bye week. Puka Nacua, he's a generational talent, an amazing rookie year. Honestly, the best rookie year of all time for a wide receiver. Kyron Williams has been an all-around baller this year. He's second in rushing yards, and he still missed a ton of games. And then Cooper Kupp is going to be Cooper Kupp. I know he slowed down a little bit, but you know what? Cooper Kupp is still going to be there to make some plays. This Ram offense has been all around amazing, and I know I just made a video on the Los Angeles Rams, so I'm not going to expand on them too much with that offense, but it's been great. So honestly, I could truly see them going on a run this year. The only thing that kind of concerns me with the Rams is that secondary. At times it looks kind of suspect, but to be honest with you, this offense is just, I feel like the offense can carry them for a little bit. At least I feel like they can go ahead and beat Detroit and expose Detroit, but I don't know how that defense is going to face up against opponents like San Fran or opponents like the Dallas Cowboys, because we might have a different story. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk might go ahead and eat versus that secondary. But I do not be surprised if the Los Angeles Rams go on a run. They beat Detroit in the wild card round and do some nice things in the playoffs. Do not be surprised. I'm telling y'all right now. Well, I cannot believe I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns at the number 5 spot right now. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that this would be happening, I wouldn't believe you. Joe Flacco, comeback player of the year in my opinion. It's crazy to see what this man is doing. He's actually balling out, especially with all the injuries they have too. I would have not have believed you if you told me at the beginning of the year. But you know what? January Joe's a real thing, and he's not to be messed with. I would know. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, and low-key, I'm kind of scared to play the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs because, you know, they got some great things going on. They have a top 5 defense in the NFL for sure. Myles Garrett has been balling out, but honestly, if there was a team on the AFC side, in my opinion, that was a wild card team that can make a run, it'd be the Cleveland Browns. They got a good defense. Joe Flacco is playing some great ball, and just all around, they've been looking like a pretty good team. If there was a team that I could see that would upset the Bills or the Ravens, anything like that, it'd be the Cleveland Browns in my opinion. They just got some upset potential with them. Like I said, Flacco's been balling out. The defense has been playing good. That's why I got him so high on the list. I like what I saw from Cleveland this year. And Kevin Stefanski, I think he's coach of the year now in my opinion. So next up on the list, we only got 4 teams left to talk about, and the 4th team on this list is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. In my opinion, I feel like this Cowboy team is a little bit different than Cowboy teams in the past. There's just a different feeling about this team for some reason. Dak isn't turning over the ball like a madman anymore. He only has 9 interceptions. CeeDee Lamb has been on an absolute tear this year. I mean, he's the wide receiver 2 in yards right now, and fantasy the wide receiver 1. He's one of the best in the league right now. He's been tearing it up. Dallas defense has been pretty good as usual, except that rushing defense has been kind of a concern, I'm not gonna lie. But besides that, this Dallas Cowboy team has been pretty good. The one concern I would say about them, besides that running defense though, is the winning on the road. They really haven't done that successfully this year. They have blown teams out of the water at home, but when it comes to winning on the road, it's kind of been a struggle for them, and that's not a good thing for them, especially if you want to go ahead and win a playoff game in Santa Clara. But besides that, I feel like the Cowboys got a nice shot at it. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb just got to do what they do best. The defense needs to play well. Hopefully they can tighten up on that run defense, and Dallas should be able to make it to the NFC Championship game for the first time in I don't know how long. Dak should go ahead and win at least 2 playoff games this year. There should be no reason why they get put out by the Packers in the first round or they get divisional rounded. This Cowboy team is definitely good enough to go to the NFC Championship game. They beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship championship game, I don't know about that one, but to make it there, I definitely think so. And I think some of you guys out there can agree with me with that statement as well. But yeah, Dallas' weakness is definitely that rushing defense. It's going to be interesting what the Packers do against that. At the number 3 spot, or the team that I think have the 3rd best chance to go ahead and bring home Super Bowl 58, would be the Buffalo Bills. They are the hottest team in football right now. Ever since they fired Mr. Dorsey at offensive coordinator, Brady's came in and he's really helped this Buffalo offense be pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. They have a very highly overpowered offense where, you know, Stephon Diggs, James Cook has been huge this year for the Buffalo Bills. They've really been using him a lot. And me personally, I'm a huge fan of James Cook. He's a great running back, receiving and rushing. He's a great guy. Ever since Brady came in and became the new offensive coordinator, this Buffalo offense has been pretty good, but I will still admit there are some problems. Josh Allen turnover problems still exist, and we saw that versus Miami on Sunday night. He still has some turnover problems and needs to limit that down. As a Raven fan myself, if there was a team that I would say had the best chance to upset us in the playoffs, it's the Browns and the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have been playing some great football, and I would not be surprised. Well, actually, I would be pretty surprised if they upset us because, you know, I feel like we're just on another level than everyone else in the AFC. We're going to get a little bit into that in a little bit later, but you know what? The Bills, they've been playing some great football. I know they haven't gone to the AFC Championship game since 2020. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since they made it there, but the way that they're playing now, they definitely have a shot at going to the AFC Championship game this year. It's going to be interesting to see who they get matched up with in the divisional round. I think they're going to go ahead and blow out Pittsburgh. I'm not too worried about that, but should be a very interesting matchup to see whoever they play. But they've been playing some great football right now, and I got a number 3 right now because if this continues, that'd be great for them at least. Next up, we have my final tier of the video, which is the Super Bowl contender video. These are the 2 teams that I really feel like are going to go to the Super Bowl this year, and if you've been paying attention, you probably know what 2 teams is going to be. Also, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. I put a lot of effort into these videos, and I try to make them the best that I can for you guys, but let's get into it. Starting off at the number 2 spot, I have the San Fran 49ers. Now, whoever's number 1, you can probably guess it based off a process of elimination, but let's talk about San Fran. This San Francisco team is the best team in the NFC. It's not even funny. They blew out Dallas. They blew out Philly. They can pretty much beat anyone on the NFC side. I'm not worried about that. Brock Purdy, he's been balling out this year with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. That offense is so good. Also throw in some George Kittle and some Christian McCaffrey in there too. That offense is just elite. And with one of the best left tackles in the league, Trent Williams, this team offense is really unstoppable fully healthy. When everyone's healthy and everyone's firing on all cylinders, there's not much that can stop this. And don't even get me started with that defense with Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. That team is all around ridiculous, alright? I 100% believe that they're going to the Super Bowl this year. In my opinion, unless some major injury happens, they're on their way there. Their team has just been so good, and they've just been blowing out people. I'm not too worried about it. That team has been great. 49ers, you guys are probably on your way to the Super Bowl. For my last team in the video, I don't want to sound biased. I know I said I'm a Raven fan, but hear me out. It's the Baltimore Ravens. They got the best chance to win the Super Bowl this year, in my opinion, and honestly, it should be evident. I know some people in the comments might call me biased because I'm a Raven fan, but you know what? I don't care. We beat San Fran Christmas Day. We embarrassed them on Christmas Day. Why can't we beat them again in an even larger setting? This Raven team has honestly just been on a whole nother level this season, especially when everyone's healthy. Lamar Jackson is probably going to end up being the NFL MVP this year with the Ravens being so good and Lamar playing some great football. They got some great running backs with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. They've been balling out as well. Zay Flowers has really emerged himself as a wide receiver 1 in this offense. He's been looking great, and he's going to be great in this offense for years to come. We also got Odell Beckham Jr., Nelson Aguilar's been playing some pretty decent football, Rashad Bateman, and then Isaiah Likely has stepped up huge in replacement of Mark Andrews, which Mark Andrews might come back, and that would be all around insane if Mark Andrews comes back for this playoff run. All around wild if you saw him in an AFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl. And in my opinion, they got the best defense in the NFL. Kyle Hamilton might be the best safety in the league, and in my opinion, I think he is. The best linebacker duo in the NFL with Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this. They've really addressed that corner situation with Brandon Stevens, and they got some guys at that corner position. And then they just got some guys on the D line, Jadeveon Clowney, Kyle Van Noy, Justin. They've just got some ballers on the defensive line. This Raven team, in my opinion, when everyone's healthy, it's complete. And when they are fully healthy and complete, it's very dangerous. The only way I can see the Ravens losing is by self-inflicted wounds. We saw that in the game that we played earlier in the season versus Cleveland. Self-inflicted wounds will make us lose, and we will look pretty stupid. But as long as we don't have those issues, we should go ahead and get the ring this year. I don't want to be biased, but like I said, I think a lot of people would go ahead and agree with me. They got the best shot this year. If there was ever a year for the Ravens to go ahead and win a ring, this year is the year. But yeah, that's me ranking ranking all the teams that I think have the least to best chance to go ahead and win the Super Bowl, and that's going to be the video for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Watch this video on what the LA Rams have done this year right here. They've been doing some great things. They've been playing some great football. A more in-depth breakdown of the LA Rams in my opinion. But yeah, if you enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.